Can you perchance hand me my water bottle? I'm a big dumb baby.
Don't do it. It's vodka.
It's not vodka. It's tequila.
God, I wish it was vodka.
Why do you like it? Tequila's better for you. Thank you so much.
You know, you say that, but it hurts my stomach. It's not better for Missy. Vodka's better for Missy.
If you mix it with sugar, that's your fault.
Sugar water.
Yeah, don't mix tequila with sugar. That's...
I wish the aliens would just come get me already.
We're recording, so whenever you guys are ready, I can cut you off.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the hottest radio show in Plano, Texas, MissInformed at Studio USA.
Sizzle.
We're so happy to have you with us. We've got lots to talk about that you may be misinformed about. Isn't that right, Mike?
I am so excited to be back. Yes, there's so much misinformation that's going on right now. I cannot even contain myself. I don't even think we're going to have enough time today to go over all the misinformed Missy.
First off, it's really, really hot, and I found a hack, and I want to just tell the world about this hack.
Mm-hmm.
And you're either going to think that I'm trashy or a genius, or maybe a trashy genius.
Okay.
So you know how our faces are melting off because it's so hot, and then we open our electricity bill and it's really expensive and we're just crying?
Yes.
Are you crying? I'm assuming that everybody watching cries when they open their electricity bill the past couple months. So we have one of those great big bay windows in our home, and
Humble brag.
we wait for it. And we got a big blanket, and we just tacked that bitch up there.
Okay.
And our electricity went down $100.
Really?
$100.
Did you? So I mean, like, there's no sun coming through. It's kind of like pitch black sort of thing.
Yeah, it's pitch black. But I mean, like, so it's like, oh no, sunshine. Now I'm depressed. But like, then I'm not depressed whenever I see that I saved $100 in my electricity bill.
Now, do you have like a bunch of vampires coming over to chill at your house too?
Well, God, that makes this kind of awkward. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got the fangs and I'm very fair skinned and I hate garlic. So I mean, it's a vibe at my house.
Well, that's cool. Well, you should have been in the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. Yeah.
Are there vampires?
There's a big one. I don't want to spoil anything, so.
Just spoil it.
No.
I don't have time to watch it.
I'm not going to spoil Blade being in Deadpool Wolverine.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I've got to see it. I'm so excited.
I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it, that's your fault. But the movie's made $1.5 billion by now, so come on. You've probably seen it. It's amazing. I'm going to see it again and again and again.
Maybe we should have a little realtor event and invite them to come see it in case they haven't had a chance to see it.
Maybe we can invite our new sponsors.
Ooh. Now, we don't have all the contracts signed just yet, but we've got sponsors lined up, and I'm really excited. Of course, we can always count on our insurance. We're going to have Goosehead. That's locked in.
Joey Bertrand with Goosehead Insurance of the Bertrand Agency. Have I said that correctly, or am I going to get smitten?
Are you smitten? He's already smitten with Joey.
Well, I'm smitten
their relationship's
with Joey.
weird.
I mean, I've known him since we were almost sperm. You know, it's been 6 years removed from sperm. How about that? And he's always been a little bit older. He's like consistently in our life, he's somehow been a year and a half older than me. I don't know how that works.
But one of the reasons that we like Joey so much is because he has a great team, and Goosehead has just always been a good company, and they've had great products that they're able to give. So if you're somebody out there and you really are looking to get a quote on insurance, like, that is one of the best ones out there. I mean, I've always preferred, even before I knew Joey, because I haven't known him since sperm, but but I've known a lot of insurance agents, and I have a lot of them that are friends. But I've always preferred Goosehead, just from what their products are that they can give.
They have, I mean, so basically they save a lot of our clients' butts. So as a little show reset, I mean, misinformed. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we have a real estate backbone. And Joey with Goosehead Insurance does a lot of commercial and residential insurance binders, and so. Anytime you want to, the weirdest thing is people that stay loyal. No offense to you if this is you, but if I'm probably talking to you, those that stay loyal to their insurance companies, like their, relatives or something of that nature, all they're going to do is increase your rates. And they may have taken care of you when you had that flood or whatnot, but those rates are going to continue to keep going up there. So maybe if you're talking to like a Goosehead Insurance and you're getting you're looking at the best pricing every year, which his team does, you're saving your money is not going up. Your mortgage payment's not going up because your escrow payment keeps going up because your insurance rates keep going up. He bundles car, he bundles auto. I mean, car and auto, that's the same thing.
He also bundles babies.
He bundles babies. He has 3 babies. Yes.
They're cute. Way cuter than him. His wife must be a looker because those babies are adorable.
You have hit the nail right on the head.
Speaking of nailing things, the election is up this year, and I think that it has really affected the market. I mean, I know the interest rates obviously are affecting the market, but I feel like it's something that we need to talk about. I think that the market is absolutely...
You don't have to talk about politics.
I'm not necessarily saying like politics who I prefer, man. I'm just saying like it's
As you wear a red jacket.
As it,
And
subliminal,
yeah.
subliminal. I mean,
What? Oh,
Kanye, are you ready?
Kanye.
Well, I know, but Kanye, isn't he running again? Anyway, listen.
I'll vote for him. That's
I am not
safer
promoting Kanye.
I am.
God dang it. But I think that a lot of the conversations I'm having with sellers and buyers that are nervous and not pulling the trigger right now, if it's not pertaining to interest rates, they're saying that they're feeling affected because of the election, and they want to see what happens with the election because they think that that's going to carry weight in the stock market and then, of course, interest rates. But also, they're just nervous to see what's going to happen. And I feel like this happened the last election too. So each election year, we just see it to be a little bit of a change in there.
I have been in real estate. I've been a broker, residential loan officer for going on 24 years now, and I see nothing but trends. And I recognize those trends, and election years are definitely trends. And I have been blessed enough to been through cycles of both Democratic and Republican presidencies. And, you know, from a bird's eye view, I don't like to dip into, you know, this one's going to do better, this one's going to do better. I have no control over that. It is who it is. But what trends that I've seen and what I think, you know, I could potentially forecast, you know, I have no crystal ball. If I had a crystal ball, that would be amazing. But let's just say Mrs. Harris wins. Okay. If Mrs. Harris wins, my prediction for what rates are going to do, I don't see inflation. I don't see the inflation roller coaster stopping anytime soon. If that's the case, I would predict that we would probably have one forced mini
Recession?
No, well, technically all the markers are that we're in a recession already. So, I mean, woohoo, enjoy it. But what I would predict is that, you know, the Federal Reserve originally said this year we were going to have 6 rate cuts, and then that went to 4 rate cuts, and now we still haven't had a rate cut. The only reason rates are decreasing right now is because the inflation numbers are messing with the indexes and the 10-year bond and whatnot. So, I mean, it's all interconnected. However, what I would predict is that there might be one rate cut, and it wouldn't be large. It'd probably be like 1/4 to 1/8 of a point or of an interest rate. Sorry. So like from 6.25 to 6 or 5.99, something crazy. But
Please.
you know, if Mrs. Harris wins, then I think that rates will just stay doing what they're doing until a major world reset happens. And the way world resets happen financially are wars. And so I can see, you know, nobody wants war, but you know, the way that things are gearing up everywhere abroad, I could feel like rates would stay the same until that occurs, and then we would see a cut. However, on the flip side, if Trump wins, then I would predict, based off of previous years of Republicans winning, I could see that the market would have a spike like it did the first time he won. So rates would increase probably by the first time rates increased when he won, it was 0.5% to 1/4%. So we lost a lot of deals that were under contract that were in new build starts because the rates increased so much when he won. And then as soon as everybody got over it, and as soon as his cabinet started coming into play, and he got the people in that he wanted, that's when rates started to come down. So I would predict that would probably happen, something similar, where
First quarter, maybe?
rates would probably come down slightly after the first quarter, I would believe. So, I mean, I think rates are going to come down either.
So next spring could be great for the real estate market if Trump takes office.
Or you know, if unfortunate war happens, you know, or a stock market crash, a large one. I know we had a little mini one the other day, but I mean, it came right back up. I mean, that's more suspect than anything.
What happened? What do you have any insight on as to why the stock market crashed like that?
They pulled the plug.
What does that mean?
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. All the Bitcoin didn't do is what. I'm not a big Bitcoin player. I put my money into real estate. I think that's the besides gold and real estate, in my opinion, those are your two vehicles that are the safest. That's going to make you money consistently over time. That you're not going to have to worry about it. And the rate of appreciation is just, it's typically, at least where we live in DFW, 5% year over year.
Yeehaw.
Or 4%, but
We're a bubble, like a little nucleus of business.
Yeah, we're in a little
Dallas.
nucleus, but other places in the country, they're not as bubblicious as we are. But yeah, I don't know if that tells you anything, but my crystal ball says rates will fall somehow, some way, but probably not till I would say at the best case scenario, maybe mid fours.
I'm not going to cry in front of you.
Okay, thank you.
But but I'm sad. I'm sad to hear that. I think we're all just at the point where something's got to give, and we need a break. These homeowners need a break. These buyers can't pallet purchasing with these interest rates standing as they are, especially with the new changes that have come into effect with a NAR lawsuit. If you're somebody out there and you're not a realtor and you're thinking of buying or selling a home, and you've seen or read something about the NAR lawsuit, let's just dumb it down for them.
Yeah, go for it. I dumbed it down I dumbed it down on Facebook the other day a little bit. Just one aspect of it, though.
Well, it's not necessarily changing anything. It's just making disclosure a little bit more relevant. So, what we use as realtors in the database to upload listings and to go and find listings for our buyers. Here we call it NETRIS. MLS is also something you would be referred to. When you go in there, it'll show what the commission is to the buyer agent. So if I was going to show Mike a house today, I would get in there and take a look. And before it would show me, it's 3% commission or 2% commission. Now it does not show that anymore. And what that means is I have to call the agent, the listing agent, to find out what the commission is. Now, nobody in their right mind will work for free. So if the seller is not paying the commission, then that's going to fall on my buyer's shoulder. The buyers, how do we hold them to that? We have to have them sign a representation agreement going over the numbers before we even start looking at homes. So if you are working with a buyer's agent, or maybe this is like your third or fourth home with an agent and you didn't have to sign something before, I guarantee you will have to sign something now, because it's a way of protecting us.
Before you even see one home. You can browse homes online through the reports that you send them, but if they want I want to go, peep that one real quick.
Yeah, you will absolutely have to sign something, which isn't scary. I mean, it's just saying that, if I show you one house, then this is what the deal would be on this one house. Or if I am going to work with you for 6 months, then my fee is this amount. And the most important thing is everything is negotiable. I say 3% and 2%, but those numbers can be whatever the agents are choosing. Maybe an agent says that they bring more value because of their experience and tenure and their connections in the market, and so they are 5% agents. You just don't know what you're going to get, and really it just depends on what you need. But that's what the whole lawsuit was about. Sellers felt there was a class action lawsuit because sellers felt that they were being forced to pay that 3%, and it wasn't being clarified that they had a choice. And so that's why this is coming into effect. And
listings have regularly, I'm not able to see listings, but I've been communicating with realtors long enough where I'm aware that, okay, our our mutual clients looking at this house and they're only paying 2%. Big whoop, or they're paying 1%. Yeah, it sucks. But I can see where, if I'm a realtor and I'm brand new or something of that nature, and back in the day, I'm looking through all these listings for my client and I'm seeing, okay, this one pays 3, this one pays 3, this one pays 3, this one pays 1. Well, I don't want my client to fall in love with that because I got kids to feed. So, I can kind of see that, but the form in question that you're talking about, it is non-exclusive. Per all the lingo that I'm reading, it's a non-exclusive buyer agency contract. And the way that I was able to dumb it down is the form is designed to protect and empower buyers by clearly outlining what services they'll receive from the realtor and how the realtor will be compensated. In my opinion, 3% for both buyers and sellers agents should still be the norm because I know all the work that y'all do and what's all inquired and the gas and the mileage and the late night phone calls and all that stuff. We'll get into that later, but the form creates a transparent relationship from the jump. Maybe the agreement you look at states the agent is only making 1%, meaning you're going to, the person, the client, the borrower, the buyer, you are going to be doing a lot of the legwork. If you're hiring a discount broker, if you're hiring someone that's only going to work for 1%, or even if they set a fee per transaction, like only $1,000, there's going to be a lot of stuff, a lot of questions that are going to go unanswered for you, regardless of if they have a team or a transaction coordinator or something of that nature. But you'll be doing a lot of the legwork, and you'll be left in the dark with some of your valid questions. And I can only answer so much as your lender. I'm not the one writing a contract. I'm not licensed to write a contract. So a professional realtor is similar to a lawyer that protects y'all, and it's the get what you pay for type of thing. So I made a terrible lemon party reference right there. It can only also offer flexibility by not locking you into working with that one agent, that one discount agent. So, basically, if you want to go see a home real quick, yeah, you're going to have to fill out this form, but you're not locked into that agent for life.
You can have options.
Yeah. So if you have a bad experience with that agent during that showing, or they're just like, yeah, bro, or they're just, doing TikToks and whatnot, the next house you can go with someone else, and maybe you realize that, oh crap, if this guy who I just signed this contract with, he's only making $1,000 on this transaction, and he's doing TikToks, and he's wearing stunner shades and smells like tequila, which is better than vodka. Then maybe you go work with Missi, who actually busts her ass constantly for each one of her clients, where yeah, she gets paid a little bit more, but the onus is still, in my opinion, is probably going to be on the seller, not you.
Yeah, it's just about the work that you put in, and some people might really enjoy the tequila and the TikTok, and that might be your vibe, and that's totally fine. The thing is, you get selection, and the NAR lawsuit is just being more clear with the options that you have. But buyer agents are just trying to get paid. They're just trying to get paid. That's all it is.
So clearly, with all these rules that have been broadcast as from NAR that they're going to be happening for the settlement, the Texas Real Estate Commission must be ready for all this stuff.
Yeah.
They probably have had forms that have been cranked out for months, right? And they're not making any last minute changes.
Well,
right?
well, they're still navigating through and trying to adhere to the lawsuit and come up with things. They have attorneys that are meeting and going over things as quickly as they can to bring to the realtors to use. And so far, there's been 3 forms. One is a form that a buyer would sign with their buyer agent, a buyer rep form, and that is something that we've always had. We're more laxated about having our clients sign it. To be honest with you, I never made my client sign it. I didn't. I'm one of those agents who didn't make you sign, because if you don't want to work with me, then bye.
Yeah.
I'm in constant communication with my buyers. So I never really lost any unless they decided not to buy a house. You know what I mean? I didn't have anybody that just kind of ghosted me, because I stayed in constant communication. So I didn't really feel the need to, and it just worked for me. But now we have to do that. And these forms that we had before, they've just done different wording on it. So like what Mike is saying, you can make it per house, 6 months, per whatever you want it to be. It gives a little bit more, it's more a la carte whenever it comes to the representation with service.
I feel, just to interject real quick, I feel as if it's making the process more complicated from a first-time home buyer perspective, because no matter how you sugarcoat this form, it's a form that you need to sign right away to start seeing houses. And more than likely, some of these larger broker firms are going to want to get that signed before they even create like a listing and sending you out all these houses. And you know, I think that there's going to have to be some friendly presentations on making this, like having Barney explain it to you, like the purple dinosaur. Thank you. Because, you know, a lot of first-time home buyers are just spooked about this process anyway. They think that a lot of first-time home buyers still have the misconception that you need to put 20% down, you know, that if like they have a kitchen flood, that they think that their life is over, when really insurance, shout outs to Goosehead again, will take care of that and probably get you new stuff. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So when you're already on edge and you don't really know what's going to go on, and the people in your back court are your parents, that your dad that bought a house 20 years ago that knows how, you know, his whole house is structured out of wood.
Dads,
logs.
shut up, dads.
Yeah, things change, and so I just see this being like just like a stupid little kink that is going to get people, you know, just.
That's why it's so important, Mike, that these realtors are being educated and they know what they're doing. That's why. At UTB, which is the title company I work with right now, I'm trying to focus on education and making sure the realtors are completely confident with how they're explaining these forms and the tools they have to stand out in the industry, so that they can navigate that easier, because it all falls on the realtor to make sure that they are explaining things properly. That's why we have this lawsuit, because realtors were not explaining things properly, essentially.
Would you like to purchase a Barney suit for me, and I'd be happy to just, like, you can put a little bouncing ball over everything I say.
I love
like, this
you.
is not going to screw you forever.
I love you. You love me.
That's my daughter's
Sign
favorite
right
song.
here and let me help you buy a house, please.
With this key, yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Please
work
don't
on
be
it.
a copyright infringement. Can we sing that? Ah, crap.
Sorry, Bernie. So we've got that one form, the buyer's rep form.
Right.
And then the other form is a listing agent form, because, you know, now as a seller coming in, they need to have something in writing too that helps guide them to what they want, and that's where they can select if they want to make the changes to not pay commission to a buyer's agent.
Awesome.
Or to pay. But listen, heed my warning. Agents out there and anybody listening that's getting ready to sell your house, you've got to hear this. This is so critical. If you are getting ready to sell your house and you think you can save some money by not paying buyer agent, you can just put it on the buyer agent. What the buyer agent is doing is they're pulling the homes to go and look at. We've got 5 homes, okay? Mike, we got 5 homes we're going to look at today.
Sweet. Let's go.
I know that you like this one the most. But this one is actually not paying commission. So if you do choose to move forward with it, you're going to be, you're going to have to pay the 3% commission on my part.
3% of what?
So the sale of the house. So this house is worth $400,000. You're going to have to pay 3% of that to me on top of the loan. Okay.
Shit.
So. Well, don't worry. We've got these other 4 houses, and they're not charging commission. They're actually absorbing my commission. They're going to pay me my 3%. Do you still want to look at that that 5th one?
The last time, maybe the last house.
See? And that was his favorite one. And now he wants to look at it at the end. That's if they even want to look at it. So please just be careful with that.
Can my loan officer pay that? No, we cannot. So just, I mean, there's not a program out there right now that facilitates that, but I'm sure, you know, that the way things happen, messes get made and
lenders clean it up
in black and white. Messes get made, and then rules and guidelines get cranked out probably about 10 to 12 months afterwards, and it's just an endless cycle of just wiping butts.
Yeah, I'd love to see something change where they can roll the commission into the loan. I mean, that'd be great, but I mean, essentially that just hurts the buyer more.
I mean, yeah, that would raise your
adding.
monthly payment.
It's just adding, which makes it even more difficult to buy, and we're already in a recession, and we're already going through enough struggle as it is as buyers. So, I mean, we can only do what we can do, but just know that if you are a seller and you don't want to pay that commission and you try to put it on the buyer, it could make your house not as desirable whenever they're out there selecting their home. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Or you're hoping the buyer has, you know, your shaded out tequila realtor TikTok that is just, you know, like, yeah, here's your, you know, here are the keys, go look and let me know if you like it.
Meet me at the bar.
Meet me in the club.
And then the third form.
Sorry.
Don't sing it.
I'm not singing it.
And then our third form is like a buyer compensation that goes from the realtor to the other realtor. It's like a buyer compensation request. and it's them saying, you know, what they're asking for compensation wise, because we no longer have it on the contract. We used to have it on page 10 on the bottom. You put 3%, 2%, 1%. Now we have another little form for that. These are all very easy forms. There's no reason to be scared. If you can read, you can do it.
I'm not familiar with that last form. So can you break it down for me a little bit more?
No, because I'm very vague with it myself.
So is that where the
it's easy. I wish I could pull it up for you just to make it easier. I'll drop it on the whenever the show goes up. I'll drop the forms underneath just so you can look at it.
Is that where the memes are coming? Where you've got like the overview picture of the house, and in the lawn it's mowed 3%.
I'm so glad you said that, because it is imperative that people understand that they will get fined if they are not handling this properly. So let me tell you, if you have a listing and you're paying 3% back and you want the other agent to know, all you have to do is answer your phone.
What? You have to talk to people? Nah.
If you try to put it in a form and upload it in Transaction Desk, if you try to put in the private remarks, 3%. If you try to put buyer friendly, broker friendly, whatever, you hint or allude to the fact that you are paying that commission back, or if the house is $500,000 and you put $500,003 at the end, anything cute, wink, tongue in cheek type situation, you will be fined. The CCAR and MetroTech, they are not putting up with it.
What's CCAR?
Collin County Association of Realtors.
Okay, so that's the overseer of all of y'all.
Well, one of them. And we also, yes, sir. So just know that if you put anything like that, they will fine you. But it's not just there. Don't try to be slick and do it on Broker Bay or Centralized Showing Service, those places that we schedule to go and look at our homes. You can't put it on there either. And you better not be doing it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because those go against what the guidelines are with an NAR lawsuit. That's what I'm being told. So the MetroTech and CCAR, they're just trying to be conservative because they want to adhere, because they don't want any trouble. So they're buckling down and they're making sure that all the agents are doing, and they will fine you. I'm not sure what the fees are yet. I know they just rolled those out not too long ago, but they said they're not playing around and they will fine you. They're taking this very seriously. So do not put anything on MLS that's alluding to the fact that what the commission is. Just answer your phone.
And that's the problem. Not a lot of people talk. I mean, it's all via text, or can you
text?
Can
you
text?
Can text. Sure.
Okay. I mean,
call, text, but like posting a picture of the lawn being mowed with 3% in it and posting it on MLS, that's a violation.
Yeah, that's probably.
Like I saw that and I thought it was cute and funny, and I was like, I'm going to post that. Wait, I don't think I can.
Yeah.
I mean, if it really was a real listing, like.
Right.
But I also don't want to give false information and encourage other realtors, because I'm a leader in the community, and I don't want to make you think that that's something that's okay, even though it made me giggle. I didn't repost it because I don't want people to think that you really can mow a 3% and post it on social media, because you could really get fined for that. And I'd feel awful if I got somebody fined because of some stupid meme I made.
Well, this,
or reposted.
By the time everything gets, so we're filming on the 16th right now. Shocker, spoiler alert. But this will be in effect by the time that
Tomorrow.
This is pushed out. Yeah. So
and they just, as of the 15th, they just made changes to another one of the forms.
Oh, wait, so they don't have their shit together?
Well, I mean, my friend Rick, he likes to say sometimes it's like building an airplane in midair. And that's kind of what the situation, that fits perfectly here.
Shout outs to Rick.
It's kind of what's going on here. They're building the plane in midair as fast as they can to help facilitate this lawsuit. And they're making changes as need be. I don't know why they made the changes. In fact, I haven't even read it yet. I'd like to just kind of review and see what they put out.
I suggest throwing that into ChatGPT and having it make it
a synopsis.
Yeah, because otherwise.
Did you do it?
No. Well, because that's so brand new.
So the form, this came out. I caught wind of it last night.
You broke wind?
Well, I'm a lady.
Thank you.
Residential real estate listing agreement, exclusive right to sell. So this is the actual listing agreement. I don't know if any of the other agreements have gone through changes, but this one has. If you look on the second page, and this is as of right now on the 16th of August, if you look on the second page where it has 5A, it goes over the broker fee. There's some changes there. Some things have been marked out, like seller authorizes broker to compensate the seller broker as indicated below. Marked out, it says just fill out 1 and 2. And then
wait, so seller authorizes broker to pay other broker is marked out?
Yeah, it's marked out.
Well, how does it get paid?
I think they just, from looking at it,
That's like
with
the
my
whole reason
small-
this lawsuit got started.
Well, no, it looks like they found it redundant because the next parts below just blatantly lay out what it is. So the one, it says, when earned and payable, seller will pay broker, insert total amount for broker and other broker. So it says what goes where. So you didn't really need to say that it was redundant. So I get them taking that out.
Gotcha.
And then on number 2, it said that this was marked out. From the amount stated in 5A1 above, broker will pay the other broker the following fees, and the broker, if the broker procures a buyer that purchases the property. So that was marked out, and instead it says, if the other broker procures a buyer that purchased the property, seller authorizes broker to pay, and broker will pay the other broker the following fees from amounts specified in 5A1.
See, what I go into screensaver mode thinking about all this, because the seller and this whole lawsuit started because sellers were like pissed that they were paying these commissions, but the sellers were never paying these commissions. The broker that the seller hired was paying these commissions. So, I mean, if it wasn't clearly stated from the jump, which I can't imagine how it was not clearly stated unless you're just in some state that has a very small population where, well, actually, I know Illinois. Shout outs to my Illinois folk. But
Hey, Illinois.
I know that they don't have a standardized contract, at least when I dipped my foot into that madness back in the day. It's like at least Texas has standard contracts, the TREC 1 to 4. So it'd be beautiful if other states had all that, but apparently they don't. But when you're hiring on a broker to list your house, put it on the market, I would assume that broker is saying, hey, we're going to put this on the market for 6% commission, 3 to me, 3 to you. Here's where you're going to sign. And now so it's not coming from the seller's pocket. Technically, it's coming from the brokerage that you hired. So the communication obviously broke down from the broker. And if I have regularly seen where listings have had 5% commission, 4% commission. And so the broker, the listing agent will say, okay, well, if Mr. Seller, if you only want to list this for 4% commission, then I'm going to take 2 and the buyer's agent will take 2 or whatever.
But you're having to lay that out ahead of time now.
Yeah, you are. But my beef is that how has that not been laid out?
Exactly. I mean, it's what we were doing all along, I thought. I mean, I'm telling my sellers, hey, this is what the game is. How do you want to play it? Like I've never been like it's 3 and 3 or else, like I've always been flexible and let them know what my value is and what I'm willing to work for you for, and then told them what is acceptable and customary, but that it's negotiable, and ask them what they want to do, So I mean, I don't really, like, on my head still, I'm still kind of scratching my head like, like did we really need to do this?
Now you're exposing the buyer to how the sausage is made, for lack of better words.
Which is more overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, why do I have to? You still, as a buyer, you don't have to worry about that, in my opinion, or you shouldn't have to worry about that. But now, now
you got to get involved.
Yeah.
I want to read the rest of the changes because I'm reading them for the first time with y'all.
Because they were just released last night, because everything is in the works. And
so on page 3, it says authorization to disclose seller paying buyer's expense. This was marked out. In addition to paying the above broker fee, seller may be asked by a buyer to contribute an amount towards buyer's expense, such as buyer's broker's fee or other expenses payable by buyer under a sale contract. See page 11 regarding broker's authority to...
So you're saying everything you just read was marked out, or everything is being added?
Nope, marked.
Okay.
And what was added is seller box does or box does not. So they're saying they can check it. Now they're getting the choice, does or does not. Authorize broker to disclose to other broker and prospect buyers that seller will consider contributions and amount towards buyer's expenses, such as the buyer's broker fees and other expenses payable by a buyer under a sales contract.
Wait. So now
this is interesting.
So seller concessions now have to be, like, basically you have to make up your mind whether or not you want to provide seller concessions. So what seller concessions are seller paid closing costs. So right now in this market,
and there's a cap on them depending on the price of the home.
And the loan program and the amount of down, but we'll go there later. But seller concessions for seller paid closing costs, what those are simply, that's the seller helping you, the buyer, out with some of your cash out of pocket. So Right now, inventory houses have been sitting for a while because rates are higher, and so sellers are motivated to move their house. I mean, you don't know. Maybe they're in a divorce. Maybe they're relocating. Maybe they're downsizing. Maybe they're having upside. You don't know what the sellers are doing, but the sellers want to get out of that house. It's listed for a reason. It's on the market for a reason. So commonly right now, sellers are contributing for money to the buyers to help either drive down their closing costs or maybe buy down to get a lower rate.
So my question is, with this addition right here, the authorized to disclose, it's saying seller does or does not. So whatever he says the seller says in this, we need to find a way to disclose that.
Yeah, like the seller's not going to pay for shit.
If you're gonna bring me an offer as the listing agent, you need to know, like, sellers willing to contribute if need be to make this deal work, or hey, just so you know, we're not. I've got it right here. He's not contributing. Like, they need to know that ahead of time whenever we're in the beginning of negotiations. I wish we could disclose that on MLS.
Well, like
that would be helpful.
When I'm talking to first-time home buyers, basically when I'm talking to first-time home buyers, it's part of, depending on the ebbs and flows of the market and where we're at currently, but like currently I'm telling people, hey, it's common for sellers to pay closing costs right now, at least, up to 1%, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, depending on how long it's been sitting for, over 45, 60, 120 days. But right now, every contract that's coming across my desk has some sort of seller paid. So like seller paid title, does that mean they're not going to pay the title policy? Because seller in Texas, it's common that it's common and assumed that the seller picks the title company that you're going to be closing at, and then they pay the title policy. And typically that's the
buyer expenses. It specifically is talking about buyer expenses.
That's a buyer. I mean,
that's something that's negotiable in the contract. Could be either or. It could be seller or buyer. But if it's something that is just specifically buyer, such as buying rates down.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's how I'm interpreting it. I mean, I am not an attorney. Please don't sue me. So I'm just telling you how I read it. So I feel like we wouldn't have anything to say about that, and that's something that would still be negotiated because it's on the contract as is. But this would affect if the seller is going to contribute any seller concessions specifically for things relating to 100% buyer's expenses, not something that is being negotiated to be seller or buyer, that is for sure buyer's expenses that would. And my first thought is buying the interest rate down, because that's something that we're doing right now.
But you cannot close on a house without a title policy.
Yeah, you have to. That's something we have to go through the mud and figure that out in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the offer, and then we'd worry about the seller concession.
So that means that either that's going to be redone, or the check boxes on the TREC 1 to 4 will be redone, because this is all clear as mud. This is awesome. And it's just you're watching professionals digest this in real time as it was released, which is awesome.
Another thing that was marked, I'm almost done, y'all. Page 8, something else that was marked out. It says
You're looking at TikTok, we know.
Where's that
Temu.
Stop it. Dirty secret. So it says seller box does not authorize broker to share the other broker and prospective buyers that seller will consider contributing an amount towards buyer's expenses, such as buyer broker's fee or other expenses payable to buyer under a sales contract. Seller is not obligated to pay any specific amount and has. It's hard when these are all red. It bleeds together because it's marked through.
So this is what's being terminated.
Yeah. Seller will pay towards buyer expenses during negotiations with the buyer. So all that's been marked up just completely.
That's a bunch of word vomit that I agree with getting. So what's the new word vomit?
They did not put new vomit.
Oh, good. Hey.
They just have broker is not authorized to execute any document in the name or on behalf of the seller concerning the property. Duh.
Wait, go do that again.
Duh.
No, yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's
buyer is not authorized. Broker is not authorized to execute any document. I can't do forgery. I can't sign for you.
That's fair.
That's always been the case. It's just after that, it's stating that it had a bunch of word vomit that was on there, and as of last night, it's been washed off.
Okay.
And then
that's a win for buyers.
It looks like that's it. The only other thing. It's like stuff that they added. Some of it they took off. Maybe they were too advantageous with some of the stuff they added and they took off.
So what you're reading is what the sellers are going to have to fill out.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the changes that I've seen is on the sellers.
Gotcha. Okay.
I like that they give the seller option. I think that's kind of creative. Seller does or does not authorize broker to disclose to the other broker and prospect buyers that seller will consider contributing an amount towards buyer's expenses, such as buyer broker. So have you seen the listings where it's like seller to contribute $5,000 towards closing costs, stuff like that? You've seen it in MLS. So if you wanted to put that, then they were going to have to hit this box. Yes, they're going to have to hit the box. If they don't, and you put that, ooh.
Oh yeah. So.
And also, we can always do amendments to things.
Yeah.
Just so you know, listing agreements can have amendments. Just like a contract can have.
So if their house is sitting for like 20, 30 days and no action, then
maybe we want to change that box.
Right.
It's just you need to be more thorough with your paperwork.
That sounds fun. I mean, it's not a huge change, but it's just, I know it's transparency to the buyer, which everything should be done, but it's just the way that it's presented is it's all going to have to be in the presentation. You're going to have to make it look hunky. I mean, you just don't want to scare people, and this is just.
You better figure it out so you know how to explain it. Period. Or you're going to be in hot water.
Yeah.
As realtors, we are continuously learning new things. This is not normal. If you're somebody that is nervous about learning new things or you don't enjoy learning new things, you need to find a different profession because you are continuously learning things here. There's nothing to be scared about. It's not that hard. It's just new. Sometimes we get scared about new stuff, but if you just dig in and don't give up, you'll be just fine. And you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to be helpful. And so is my #1 lender, Mike.
Hi, I'm
Got
with Red
it.
Zone Mortgage Group, and you should finance with us.
Get in the zone. Get in the zone.
Well, I mean, that's all fun and good, but what else is coming down the pike for real estate? I mean, typically this month, these last months of the year are usually down periods anyway, so usually rates naturally kind of go down. So
I think we're going to have a busy fall. I think it's going to be wild.
And there are I know of 3 realtors that have let their license expire within the last couple months. So I mean, this was announced how long ago? Maybe like half a year ago or more, right? Or longer ago?
Right around. I mean, probably within the year.
Okay, yeah. So people have had time to digest this, and some people have been like, I'm out.
And we just want to do the right thing. We want to navigate it properly and make sure that we are learning it the best way. And I'm not the smartest person in the room. That's why I'm really trying to pay attention and talk to counsel so that I can absorb properly and be able to help others around me. Because I don't want to be the smart one. I want everybody around me to be smarter than me. You know. So I'm constantly learning different things. So I mean, there's nothing worse than being on the other side of the contract of an idiot and you're having to carry the weight, because that has happened to me.
And they're also listed as a broker.
I didn't say that.
I'm
not
seen
picking on anybody.
So many contracts where like I'm dealing with the buyer's agent is just a rock star, which there's a lot of them that I work with, which are great all throughout Texas. And then we're dealing with a broker who is technically, more accredited than a realtor.
Yeah.
And
sometimes they're lazy. Sometimes they're not stupid. Sometimes they're just extremely lazy and they just don't care. I've seen that too.
Yeah, I've seen so much fun stuff.
But speaking of fun stuff, now's a really good opportunity for investors to kind of come in and grab different things too. And I do see a lot of off-market opportunities right now. If you're somebody who's looking at investing, flipping, or making rentals or Airbnbs, I've got my hand on a handful. I've got my hand on a handful.
Hand on a handful. Like
Is that a
bunch?
I've got a few off-market opportunities. So I mean, reach out. There's some meat on the bone there for anybody interested.
There's been a lot of financing creativity over the last the last year because of where the rates are. So I'll get to investors in a second, but for first-time home buyers, I'm seeing a lot of first-time home buyers team up with their friends or family.
Yeah.
To qualify for a house and have a co-signer. So where that, maybe you have a family member that is going to help you over that qualifying burden to get you approved for that house. They sign as a co-signer, so they're not on the title of the house. The title of the house is still in your name, but they're helping you out with the mortgage portion of it. So I'm seeing that.
Subject to? Is that the subject to?
No.
We don't have time to get into that because we're closing our show out. I mean, we're already a minute over.
Where are we at?
Right? We're a minute over.
We're 44 minutes? No. So we're on that little mini clock that says REC.
How much time do we have?
We're at 44. We're good.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So, in regards to investors, though, yeah, it's a different. Right now, first-time home buyers are getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly, and if they don't have nuts, then the boobs. Yes. Investors, it's kind of a different game, and a lot of people that have some leftover dinero from everything that's happened in the last 2-3 years. They're wanting to invest, but they don't want to put 20% down. And so there's a vehicle for that. There's a financing vehicle. There's a loan program to where you turn your departing residence into a lease. So the house that you're currently living in, instead of going out there and buying an investment property with 20% down, 25% down, or what have you, you can buy yourself a new house and turn your departing residence into a rental. And so that enables me, the lender, to not count your mortgage because it's going to be covered with a lease agreement between you and a tenant. We need evidence of the first month's deposit, and we need evidence of the lease. But that frees you up to qualify for a new house on your own, and you can put 5% down and basically just create a little shell game. And technically, you could do that every year if you wanted to, and just start accumulating wealth that way. So instead of putting down 20%, you could put down 5. Now your wife might hate you, but if you're a single dude out there, big picture, I was kind of thinking about if I knew what I knew now, how would I accumulate a little empire of wealth? Well, let's just start from scratch. I would get let's just say my credit sucked, right? And I'm like around 500s and I just started to really care about it. So I would get a secure credit card from any bank. That's basically like, here, you give them $400.
Capital One, thanks, guys.
Yeah, to create a line of credit, and then you are now your own bank, and you just start building your credit for a year. You get a couple of those, so now you're in the 600s. So what would I do now? So now I'm above 620. I'm probably like at 660 or 700. You only need 620 credit score to get down payment assistance through the state of Texas. And what that means is, you've got a job. And that's another thing. A lot of people think, well, I need to be on a job for X amount of time. Education is the same as employment. So if you were in school and then you had less than a 6-month gap between graduating and then going into your profession, if it's an hourly or salary job, you're good. So you don't need to be on your job for a full 2 years. You've got that education background. So another thing is that we do not penalize you for wanting to come up and better your life. So if you want to, if you're in a salary or hourly position and then you see another job open up and you make that jump and that switch, I've helped people that have had like 6 job changes in the last 2 years. It's a lot of paperwork on your side, but we're not punishing you for getting paid better and higher and you finding a career that you like when you're starting off. So, I have a 660 now because I've had these 2 credit cards and I have changed jobs a lot, but I haven't had a job gap longer than 6 months. That's really the name of the game because now you can qualify for down payment assistance through the state of Texas. And so realistically, when you're working in this type of market with a good realtor that can negotiate some seller paid closing costs, I guess up front, however the hell that works now, but you could get into a house for less than $1,000. And so when you combine it with the state down payment assistance, there's forms of that in grants which do not require repayment, and then there's forms of that in liens that do require repayment if you buy or sell or refinance in the last 3 years. But heck, you can stay in that house for 6 months to a year. You find a new job that you have to move somewhere, and you can start doing the shell game. So, and some down payment assistance doesn't even require you to be a first-time home buyer. You can be a repeat offender, as they like to. Well, that's a terrible terminology.
I don't like that.
Yeah, okay, we won't say that. But so that's how there's like a little blueprint right there where you don't have to have an absorbent amount of money to start being an investor. There's ways, and then I'm not even talking about the opportunity of purchasing a multi-unit. Down payment assistance can be applied to a 1 to 4 a 1 to 4 unit. So what I'm saying is like a duplex or a place that's got, you know,
Yeah.
a little townhome condominium that's got 4 units in there. So you live in it, you live in one, and you got 3 people basically paying your mortgage. Like there's so many options out there for you to accumulate
And that's
wealth.
cool.
So I mean, that's just from a junior investor position. But for like new investors, you know, there's new unique programs out there as well where maybe you are just now becoming an investor and you just started getting money from your job and you haven't had your job for longer than 2 years. We have bank statement only programs where your income is derived not from your tax returns because you write everything off but where your bank statements, all of your deposits into your bank statements, we can either take a 12 or 24 month average, and we're not looking at your tax returns. We're not looking at Jack Diddley. We're just looking at your bank statements. And so I had a client we closed recently where they only had 3 deposits in a 24-month period. 3 deposits. And one of them was for $1 million. But it was 3 deposits. And a lot of people, you know, we have investors that would like to see a little bit more continuity.
Sure.
Sorry. Maybe I said the same thing. But, you know, we do have investors that are cool with that. And so we were able to give them an average of $88,000 a month based off of just 3 deposits in 2 years. And so we have those type of avenues of programs for investors. And then we have the hottest one out there right now is the DSCR program. It's debt service coverage ratio, where basically the key to the ignition here is where you want to buy this house as an investor and you don't want to do bank statements. You don't want to show your income. You don't want to do Jack Diddley. You just want to put down enough of a down payment to where your monthly payment is less than the rent. And so what happens is the lender, myself, we send an appraiser out there that says, okay, your house is valued at, you know, $300,000. And then this house right there, that's going to collect, you know, this other rental house down the street is going to collect $2,500. This one's going to collect $3,000 next to you. This one collects $3,100. So the average of these rental houses around you is going to be about $2,800 a month. So as long as the monthly payment is at or below $2,800 a month, that's all. We don't care about anything. It's just your credit score being over 680 or 660 in some cases, and you putting down enough down payment, and that's it. As long as the rent covers the mortgage, that's it. So, and you can be a first timer. You don't that doesn't have to be your first. You don't have to be like, you don't have to have a portfolio of 4 to 5 rental properties. It can be your first. So there's a lot of the game is changing to help people buy houses, even though the market is sucking. I was going to say something is not good right now, you know. So
that's exciting. I wasn't familiar with that program, so it's really nice to know that. Thank you for educating me. I've got people out there that I think might really appreciate that one.
Yeah.
DSLR.
I think that's a rap group from Dallas. DSCR.
You down with OPP? DSC. Okay.
I'll send you some stuff.
Send me some stuff.
You
send me some stuff, I'll send you some stuff. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think that's
something I didn't do. Shout out to my newborn or
newborn. What? She have a baby? What are you doing here?
But we'll be announcing that on the show soon, if not already, obviously by the show. But we are expecting number 2.
Number 2, and the first one is unbelievably breathtaking. She is such a little sweetheart.
Thank you. She looks like her mom.
Oh, thank God, right? Mom's beautiful too. So when's the due date?
November 24th.
Oh my God, my birthday's the 26th.
Well, I know that Angel has no intention of stretching that out.
Okay, listen,
Hear you out. Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
Is she going to be induced, or is she?
We're going to do a home birth, like old school.
No, it may not be the 24th.
It's probably going to be sooner.
They say that after the first one you do.
Yeah.
After the first one you do go a little bit sooner, so it could very well be, the 20th or whatever. But I mean, if you could just whisper to the baby, if Angel will allow it,
Uh-huh.
Missy said her birthday's on the 26th, and it's a great birthday
Yeah.
because it falls on Thanksgiving ever so often, so it's always surrounded by family and friends.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the cool thing is that since it's happening, like we're not leaving our house at all. It's going to be a home birth. So I mean, if you want
So
to
bring
see
turkey
us,
to the door and just drop it off for you?
or no, it depends on how Angel's feeling, but
No. Angel does not want anybody in her house when she's having a baby.
she's
Period.
she loves her family. We love our family, so you can stay for like 5 minutes or something.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't let anybody near. I was a psychopath about after. Anyway,
Well, our first one went 33 hours, so hopefully it'll go
gosh.
a little bit quicker.
I hope it's faster. I hope it's faster, and I hope it's just not a lot of pain. And God bless her for doing it a second time. And I'm excited. I'm excited to meet the little booger.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Red Zone Mortgage,
Red Zone Mortgage, UTB Title,
Goosehead. Shout outs to Studio USA for letting us shoot here. Thanks, Rick.
Rick.
Rick. And maybe we'll have a plumber on here by the name of Paul Bozarth with Fractal Plumbing. Maybe. That guy's pretty cool.
I like to always see what's cracking with him.
Yeah, we do.
He's a plumber and crack.
Oh man, that's awesome.
All right, guys, I'm done with my corny jokes. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure that you're out there getting educated because education is power. We'll catch you on the next show.
Have fun with NAR.
Bye.
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 All right. So Barney and G Unit. Barney on G Unit.
Could we chat GPT and let's get a picture?